Hi all, this is Skate, and there's been so much tank destroyer on this channel recently, I kind of felt we needed something at the opposite end of the spectrum. And the most opposite I could think of was something very fast, something very unique. It's the only tier 10 light tank we have. It's the French Batchat. And by all accounts, it's going to be the only tier 10 light tank we have for a long time, because Wargaming have said they have no intention of adding any more tier 10 light tanks at the moment, or in the near future. So it's going to remain unique. And I think there's one thing the Batchat never fails to provide, is high action, on the edge of your seat gameplay when you're playing it. May not seem it as much when you're watching it, but as we all know, when you're driving one of these things, you're worried about mediums rushing you, tank destroyers or any large calibered heavy tank looking in your direction, hell, farting in your direction. Because if that HE hits the right spot, it's going to shave nearly 50% of your hit points, and that can throw you out of the game. It can stop you risking some of your hit points to trade off to kill off a tank. It makes a massive difference. So that makes this tank ridiculously fragile. Combine how fragile that tank is with its mobility, and the fact it has a clip makes it always on the go in my opinion, and it should always be on the go. I mean, job number one for the Batchat is to get up early and to get as many spots as you can, which is what we did at the start of this battle. Job number two is to be a distraction. The Batchat works so well at distracting people because it's a nice juicy target, and all you need is an enemy capable of counting 1, 2, 3 shells. And actually, I can guarantee the second I've said that, there's going to be people already writing in the comments, well, I can't find team players capable of counting to 3. But in the event you do, it makes this very vulnerable, because if something with some mobility, you can say a Leo, a T62A, hell, most medium tanks, if they push you while you are reloading and they have more than 1,000 hit points, the likelihood is you're not going to end up finishing them off with one clip. So they can start shooting you while you're reloading. You can put a maximum of, say, 1,000 damage into them. They can sacrifice those hit points and continue working you on your next long reload. And all they've done is sacrifice a chunk of hit points to completely take out a tank. And in many regards, that is not a bad compromise at all. Yeah, half your hit points can be a game changer. But if it was a T62A rushing this thing, face hugging it, what's to say you're not even going to bounce one of your shells? Hell, what's to say you're not going to bounce 2 of your shells because you don't have the gun depression potentially to get down, and it's a very competent player, completely taking you out for the sake of, say, 600 damage. So I'll try and avoid brawling with mediums as much as I can. This is the sort of exception here. That E3 on my team would have been rushed from the back by that STB1. However, what we've done is slow him down enough that the E3 can come in and make a big, massive hole in him. And if I wasn't here right now, that STB would be completely comfortable on the back of that E3, and there's nothing he could do about it. So me being here allows me to deal with that STB and keep that E3 in the game. And in doing so, that E3 is going to keep me in the game. We are pincered at the moment, it's just 2 of us left. I know the Conqueror is going to be coming that way, don't know where the grill is, so I'm going to try and protect. I'm accidentally blocking him, but I'm going to protect his back. I bounce a shot, and then we find the grill, which means I can work down the grill a little bit, and then be a distraction while on the reload, because that E75 is going to want to finish me off. I am a one-shot, and I'm juicy and an easy target. Except the grill is also looking at me, so I'm going to get lucky there. But this is one of these scenarios where the Batchat will shine, because now he is on a reload. Granted, he's got adrenaline, but it gives me just enough time to get as close as I can to him, to get A, under his gun, and B, traversing quicker than he is. Except, we know the grill's also coming for us, so we're going to use this wall to protect us from the E75. And if you look, there's the grill. And we're going to try and finish him off while protecting ourselves as quick as we can from that E75. And we do manage to do that. And we've kept that E75 preoccupied. And during this, There's been a one-on-one with the E3 and the Conqueror, and the E3 is about to finish off that Conqueror. Which means I'm going to use this as my opportunity while he's beyond the wall to make a break for it. E3 is going to push this direction towards the E75, and again I can pop up on the side and be a distraction. If he looks at me, doesn't matter, E75 will be finished off by the E3. If he doesn't look at me, it means I get around the side of him and I get some free shots into him. And that, in my eyes, is win-win, because you're a distraction, you can use your mobility to get on the side of a tank very quickly, and that, to me, is very much what the Batchat is all about. I will try my hardest to spot as quick as I can, and I'll try in every battle in the Batchat to get up early with the engine boost and get some spots in. It's very advantageous for the team very early on. It gives them a good indication where the enemy team is going, and thus we can adjust accordingly very quickly. And again, before anyone comments, I know the teams won't always adjust, even if you highlight where all of the enemy team are. But if you don't spot early on, and there's no one else spotting early on, it doesn't give any chance at all. At least if you are getting the spots early, it's at least giving you a chance of allowing your team to rectify a direction if they need to. But that's my early game approach. Every time, without fail, I will every time try and go early, go quick, and get spots. After that, I won't go brawling with mediums, because they're just going to make a mess, as we explained earlier on. I like to try and keep this thing at range, so very early on, personally, always spotting, and after that, you want to be trying to keep a decent range between you, or some friendlies between you, so they can't come pushing you and making an absolute mess of you. Like now, they can't push me because my entire team is coming up behind me, so although they know where I am, they can't come rushing me, because right behind me is a whole host of tanks. So in this regard, I'm safe from being pushed. If they weren't there, there is nothing stopping them from ruining me without me doing much damage in response. But the fact that they are there gives me the opportunity to, while I'm on a reload, use that monster mobility to completely appear somewhere else and support flanks if needed. For example, if half the team went left, half went right, and the left was struggling, I can relocate from the right to the left and help out and give an extra gun in that circumstance. I love taking this thing from one spot to another completely while on the reload. It's a complete surprise for the Reds then where you're going to appear from. But that's obviously early and mid-game type tactics. My favourite is the end-game tactics, when people have lost a chunk of hit points. And this is where it goes from exciting to on the edge of your seat. Anything with less than 900 hit points, you know you can push and, in the vast majority of cases, finish off very, very quickly. And then get the hell out of there again while reloading. And that's a huge help to your team, because you can rush in, potentially gamble a couple of your hit points, but completely take out a tank with less than 900 hit points, and then get out of there very quickly. And if you don't, and there's others pushing with you, at least you will be a perfect distraction. Like then, that Batchat completely ignored the Chiefs and he was focusing on me, and that just gave him the opportunity to finish him off because I didn't. And it's the same here. E100 is going to push that Death Star. Death Star's focusing in E100. It gives me the opportunity to swerve around and just unload my clip into this guy. In many ways, it makes the Batchat a bit of a scavenger. Because if there's a group of tanks together, Reds-wise, you're not going to go rushing them in a Batchat. You'll end up popping up for one position, unloading that clip, and then buggering off to a different position. And I love that about this tank. It constantly leaves the enemy wondering, where's that Batchat gone? Where's he going to come up from? Is he going to come from in front with his team? Or is he going to magically appear from behind? Because with the mobility, you can so easily do both. And they know that. Like, take the last game. I tried to keep range as early as I could, but then you have to sacrifice some of your hit points, especially to save others on your team or to prop up certain flanks. In this regard, I've literally run around the battlefield looking for targets and loading a clip, and then running off again, which means I've lost 0 hit points and done over 3,000 damage so far. And again, in this circumstance, I could have gone left towards the reds, but rather I've gone right, and I will be able to pop up at a completely different position to what they're potentially expecting, which means I should be able to magically spot them and finish one of them off. Again, completely undetected. And now there is 2, and now I have loads of hit points left, and it is endgame. I can just drive in like an idiot, because the likelihood of those 2 finishing me off before my team come in is highly unlikely. But I do always assume that anything pointing at me is going to be firing HE. And it's not just the extra damage I worry about because of the extra HE. It's the module damage. It's how quick you're going to go through those 2 repair kits you're carrying. Because if you get munched with some HE, it takes your track off, damages your gun, damages something else, engine especially, or kills one of your crew. You're then screwed if you get shot again, and you don't have it when you need it. And that is the problem with HE and this tank, is you end up using consumables a lot. And that can very easily be the death of this tank. But as I've said a few times already, and that is the exact reason why it is one of the most exciting, on the edge of your seat tier 10 tanks to play. Hope you've enjoyed the video though, guys. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.